And Bitcoin being the best performing asset in the world with a 60% CAGR, even if in the next 10 years that comes down to 30%, and then in the next 10 years comes down to 15%. Well, if they pumped interest rates up to 5%, and can't go much higher than that without breaking the system. So you're talking about 300% more than where the system is maximized. And when you start to plug these into insurance companies, funds, pension plans, it could literally change how the world of finance works, and it can redefine fixed income. And whether people understand that through education or not, it can actually increase their quality of life and standard of living. That's the real magic of Bitcoin. There's so many tentacles of Bitcoin. Even if you don't like it, it can still make your life better because of what it is.
Yeah, and in a more real world, meaning already being implemented similarly, not exactly, but similarly. This is sort of the MicroStrategy playbook, but delivered in a structured note that anyone, right? I believe, if I understand correctly, you're building this platform so that plebs like us can get access to this product. You don't have to be a sovereign nation or a state. You could be, CJ Constantino from Naples, and you say, I'm going to buy a structured note.
That's right.
That's essentially what you're building. That you're building this for the people. That's where it's starting, right? That's why the people's reserve, correct?
Correct. That's absolutely right. So you can be, even a private company can issue. So with MicroStrategy, that would be a corporate issuance. And actually, in one of my examples, in my little pictures, I like to put little Easter eggs in my pictures that I use. But I have up on there an MSTR bond, because I do believe MSTR is only going to be able to dilute so much.
Right.
Even though they're getting more Bitcoin per share, there's a limit to that dilution. And at some point, it's going to need to be backed by some sort of cash flow that's at a greater rate than what they pay now, because the rates at which what they're paying now are unbelievable. And Michael Saylor is a genius. Like, what he's doing is absolutely unbelievable. And he's doing it out in the open, and he's trying to teach people, and they're still not getting it. So it's unbelievable. Like, the kind of ceiling you have to break through right. with the alpha that he delivers. And he's just such a great representative of Bitcoin and where we can be long-term. And it's not to say I agree with everything that he stands for, but what an amazing example.
Why do you think people in TradFi are so reluctant to look this straight in the eye, see the results in real time? I mean, that MicroStrategy is just rocketed up the charts. How can other companies look at this for so long and not be pushed towards taking a similar approach? Or do you think it's just a slow moving ship, and that they are going to do it, and it's just going to take some time?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the first thing is like, when I first learned about Bitcoin, somehow it's anti in your head, because it's anti everything you were taught. It's the antithesis of like success. It's a digital magic internet money. We don't know who issued it. There's a lot of these things that come up that go against what you learn in traditional finance. And most of those people in those upper echelons of corporations, they've had very successful careers. Everything that they've known and learned has led to nothing but success for them. And the government inflation has made that easy for them in nominal terms. Even with all the zombie company, you might run a zombie company right now on the stock. Like, you literally are a zombie company. You're dead. Without the printer, you'd be long gone, but you feel successful because you've trusted the plan. You've trusted the knowledge that was imparted to you, and you don't want to change anything. So I think it's a lot about human pride, and human success. Like I said, I learned from my failures. I think if you got a big CEO or CFO, a lot of them would be bragging about their successes versus reminiscing on their failures. Right. And for me, I always learn better from failure than I do from success. But that's just a mindset, and Bitcoin changes your mindset. That's like that's like the spiritual level of Bitcoin. It changes your incentives. It changes the way you think about things. It changes what you prioritize in your life. And these people just aren't there yet, even though the proof of the pudding is right in front of them and all the math is right there. And you can't argue against the performance. The Bitcoin, the base layer of demand for Bitcoin is growing faster than the internet. So you have all these metrics that they even use to measure the internet with demand and other metrics, and everything's going off the charts, and they still won't believe it. The other part of that, though, is definitely the money printer. what happened when COVID happened? All these companies took out these PPP loans. Like they just got free money. It was a loan that you didn't have to pay back. Well, when the system is giving out money like that, that's what happens. You become dependent upon the system. And when it makes your life easy, you will defend the system, even though you're sacrificing some of your freedoms. And it warps you. It's slave's not the right word, but it's like free. I saw this one meme. It's like a chicken, right? And it's a chicken in a cage. And then the next side of the meme is it's a chicken that's out on the range, but both chickens end up in the slaughterhouse, right? So it's like even if you're a free range chicken, you still end up in the slaughterhouse. And that's a hard pill to swallow, that you are being exploited by the system to create cash flow for treasuries. And then that gets put into their entire system. That's where all cash flows are based on. That's why government debt is called risk-free, even though there's plenty of risk to it.
No,
right?
no risk, because there's no worry. All the chickens are going to slaughter.
Like I have to put on my website, this is for educational purposes only, right? But then they get to come out and say risk-free, no risk. It's like it's because the government has the ability to print, and when they do that and they send out helicopter money, if things got really bad, let's say the economy turns down and the weakness in the economy as it stands right now becomes more evident. I have no doubt after what they did in COVID that people will be calling for stimulus checks.
Right.
Like once the helicopter money starts, that is on the timeline of moving from inflation to hyperinflation. Helicopter money is a catalyst and an accelerant on that timeline. Once you pass the helicopter money phase, then the system starts to deteriorate much faster than the pre-helicopter money phase. And we are now in that phase right now.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.